Could Russia's next major strike be aimed beyond Ukraine, potentially targeting NATO-linked infrastructure, logistics hubs, or military support networks across Europe? Is Russia quietly assembling a super drone army, with more than 1,000 attack drones reportedly prepared to launch coordinated strikes against strategic targets? Could 59 newly constructed launch rails represent a growing threat aimed at NATO cities, allowing Russia to disperse its weapons and attack from multiple locations? Is Russia building a long-range strike capability designed to reach NATO warehouses, ammunition depots, and supply centers far beyond the immediate battlefield? Does the geometry and geographic placement of these bases reveal a deeper operational plan, one that extends farther into Europe than many Western analysts currently acknowledge? Has Russia already accumulated a stockpile large enough to sustain a prolonged campaign against NATO military infrastructure, transport networks, and critical logistics sites? And is the window for NATO to respond effectively closing faster than military planners realize, as Russia expands its drone forces, launch infrastructure, and long-range strike capacity? According to The Telegraph, Russia is reportedly building a new network of concealed drone bases along its western borders, raising concerns that the facilities could support operations far beyond Ukraine. These new sites are said to include launch pads for long-range drones, potentially giving Russia the ability to strike targets across NATO member states from positions close to its western frontier. Some of these facilities are reportedly already being used to launch drone attacks against Ukraine, suggesting that the network may be operational rather than merely part of a future military expansion. Journalists examined leaked documents alongside satellite imagery and identified at least 10 Russian drone sites that appear to be linked to the country's expanding long-range strike infrastructure. At least 59 new drone launch rails have reportedly been discovered near Russia's borders with Belarus and Ukraine, indicating a significant increase in the number of available launch positions. Russia is allegedly using both military installations and civilian airfields to accommodate drone control centers, maintenance units, storage areas, and launch facilities. Some of the reported launch sites have even been constructed inside small villages near the border, making them more difficult to distinguish from ordinary civilian infrastructure and potentially harder to target. The investigative group DroneSec reportedly identified around 20 new launch rails that are longer than the standard rails normally associated with Russia's existing drone systems. Those extended launch rails may have been designed for Russia's newest generation of drones, which are believed to feature substantially longer flight ranges and could pose a threat to targets deeper inside Europe. The emerging Russian drone infrastructure could pose a long-term security threat to NATO countries by expanding Moscow's ability to conduct surveillance, coercion, sabotage, and precision strikes across Europe. Some Russian drone bases are reportedly positioned in locations that could potentially allow long-range unmanned aircraft to reach Warsaw, placing Poland among the European capitals that could fall within their operational range. However, there is currently no confirmed evidence that Russia is preparing to launch a direct military attack on Poland or deliberately initiate an open conflict with NATO. Instead, US and European intelligence officials are reportedly concerned that Moscow could pursue limited provocations on Polish soil while attempting to remain below the threshold of a conventional military confrontation. Possible scenarios could include attacks against critical infrastructure, disruptions to transport and communications networks, or covert operations designed to create confusion, panic, and political instability. Russia could also attempt to stage a false flag operation and then blame Ukraine for the incident, potentially seeking to exploit divisions within NATO and complicate the alliance's response. This expanding drone network could give Moscow new options for conducting long-range strikes, covert operations, and sustained pressure against targets across Europe without relying exclusively on traditional missile systems. The newly identified launch sites demonstrate how Russia is expanding its drone warfare infrastructure near NATO territory, creating a wider and more flexible military network along Europe's eastern flank. One Russian drone base reportedly contains storage facilities capable of holding more than 1,000 attack drones at the same time, suggesting that Moscow is preparing for large-scale and sustained aerial operations. Construction of additional drone launch positions is reportedly still underway at several Russian sites, indicating that the country's unmanned strike network continues to expand. Russian military factories are allegedly delivering drones directly to these newly established launch facilities, allowing the weapons to be stored, prepared, and deployed closer to the operational area. Many of these drones are reportedly manufactured in the Alabuga Special Economic Zone in Tatarstan, which has become a major center for Russia's production of long-range unmanned aircraft. Leaked documents claim that the new Geran 4 and Geran 5 drone variants are powered by jet engines, potentially giving them greater speed, range, and flexibility compared with earlier designs. The newer Geran variants are also reportedly capable of carrying warheads weighing up to 90 kilograms, which could significantly increase the damage they inflict against infrastructure and military targets. Mike Monnik, the founder of DroneSec, says Russia can now launch much larger numbers of drones simultaneously, creating the possibility of saturation attacks that could overwhelm air defense systems. Monnik also says advances in Russian drone technology are making these unmanned aircraft more difficult to detect and intercept, increasing the pressure on defenders during large-scale attacks. Analysts warn that Russia's new jet-powered drones could eventually threaten European countries, particularly if their improved speed, range, and payload capabilities are confirmed. The reported location of some Russian bases could potentially allow long-range drones to reach Warsaw, placing Poland's capital within the theoretical operating range of Russia's expanding strike network. Amid tensions teetering on the edge with Russia, Poland is rapidly ramping up its defenses and preparing for a wider threat. Poland is planning precision strike capabilities that could potentially reach targets beyond 1,000 kilometers, expanding its strategic reach. Strike drones, cruise missiles, and ballistic missiles for deep strikes are among the weapons Warsaw is reportedly eyeing for its arsenal. Currently, Poland's land-based systems can strike targets at ranges of only around 300 kilometers, limiting their reach. The revelations were made by a top Polish defense official in an interview with Defense 24, outlining Warsaw's future plans. Russia's deadly retaliation against Ukraine has reportedly pushed Poland toward a major strategic shift in its long-range strike capabilities. Warsaw has already ordered hundreds of US-made JSSMER cruise missiles for its air force, strengthening its deep strike capacity. The JSSMER can reportedly strike targets up to 1,000 kilometers away while carrying a 450-kilogram warhead. Poland's contract for the American cruise missiles reportedly costs a whopping $735 million. Poland also plans to build CGR-080 rockets for its Homar-K multiple launch rocket system, according to reports. This 80-kilometer rocket program could help expand Poland's domestic missile industrial base and strengthen local production. Additionally, Warsaw may develop longer-range weapons independently or jointly with allies, further expanding its strategic strike options. Romania's airspace was breached by a drone that entered the country from neighboring Moldova, raising fresh security concerns along NATO's eastern flank. A Spanish F-18 fighter jet detected the drone while conducting a NATO air policing mission over Romania, prompting an immediate military response. The Spanish F-18 shot down the drone at around 5:01 a.m. after receiving authorization to engage the unmanned aircraft inside Romanian airspace. Romania's defense ministry, however, did not officially confirm where the drone had originated from, leaving its exact source unclear. Romanian radars detected the drone about 24 kilometers north of the city of Galati, before tracking its movement through the country's airspace. The drone's wreckage is believed to have fallen in an uninhabited area located between two villages, limiting the risk to civilians on the ground. Romania has now shot down 4 unmanned aerial vehicles since January 2026, underlining the growing drone threat along its border. Romania has also reported repeated drone airspace violations as the war in neighboring Ukraine continues to create security risks for NATO territory. Just a day earlier, drone fragments were found in the Romanian border village of Ploru, raising further questions about recent airspace incidents. Ploru is located very close to the Romanian-Ukrainian border, an area that has seen repeated drone activity during the ongoing war. According to RBC Ukraine, Romania shot down 3 Russian drones over the course of just 3 days, marking a rapid escalation in such incidents.
Upgrade your news experience with the all-new HT app. Download now.